Dramatic pause.
So, happy to be back at Comic-Con?
Yeah.
Yeah?
It feels like we were just here. It's kind
This is home, right?
Sure. That's my wallpaper. This is my table.
It's a table.
Yeah. That feels great. It always
This is
feels.
one of the few shows you can come in and see pretty much represented across the board with everyone dressed up.
Yeah, I feel kind of spoiled because the first thing you see is the big Finn inflatable head, and you're like, "That's right, that's right." You get a little
Powerful.
cocky. Yeah. Just walk around the floor saying hi to all the Fionas. Hey Finn, and they're just like, "Don't talk to me."
Tell thanks for your money.
Yeah.
So working on Adventure Time now, do you think that the age group that you're sort of writing to has changed over the years? Or has it stayed about the same?
I have no way of knowing. I think the age group the age that we're writing for is like Finn's age, which has kind of changed. And so I think the character has changed. I don't know if like little kids are not able to watch the show anymore. I hope they are. But I think we approach the show in basically the same way we did for season 2. It's just the character himself has sort of gotten older, so his concerns has sort of changed.
So I feel like kind of Finn and them have kind of grown with the audience, like with those younger audience members.
Yeah, which means we'll just have 30-year-olds at some point as our audience.
I think you already do.
Hopefully it's not just 30-year-olds.
But it seems like too. I meet people that say, "Oh, I was aware of the show, but I just started watching it, and I really like it." So it seems like at any age, at any time, someone can become a fan.
It's the perfect show.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because right now it feels like Finn is going through puberty in a way.
Yeah.
And in your, like from your perspective, we actually just talked to the cast about the episode where Finn and LSP, something happens between them. From your perspective, what happened between them?
She kissed him weird. That was it, from my perspective.
Yeah, I think Finn was trying to follow Doctor's orders to have fun and make out girls, and yeah, she was really excited that he was in this place, and yeah, that's my perspective. They made out with him, and he just felt weird because he didn't feel like it helped him. So,
I mean, you could take that to a darker place, but we're not gonna.
That's your next job.
Yeah,
she woke up in her log.
it's very all above board.
Yeah.
So, you guys have taken the show in really creative different directions that your shows maybe can't even explore. You get guest artists and things like that. What's it like for you guys to have an opportunity and for you guys to explore that?
I think it's been amazing. I'm really happy we've been able to do that. I think it kind of grew out of the way we approach the show, which is the storyboard artists define a lot of what an episode is going to be, so it's already like we have guest directors. Like there are 4 or 5 different versions of Adventure Time at any time, depending on who's making it. So we just kind of expanded that to having guest directors. But yeah, I like to exploit it as much as I can, as long as the show goes.
It'd be neat
so
to
many
do
cool
one a
directors.
season. Yeah.
Yeah, and that's kind of what we have been doing. Like,
Yeah.
we're talking about doing a stop motion episode at some point.
Yeah.
Which would be amazing. No finalized stuff. That's not an announcement.
Yeah, we're talking about it. We're talking about it. We're talking about a lot of stuff.
Yeah.
You guys have had some great cast guest stars. Like Henry Rollins is on there, Kick David. Do you guys have any people like that your dream is to get? I want them to be on Adventure Time to be a character.
I think for a while the dream was to get the entire cast of Star Trek: The Next Generation on. And we've sort of been working towards that. That's a weird dream, though.
Yeah, I personally did. I want everyone who's ever been on The Office to come on.
Oh yeah, we've also been.
We had Creed. We had Rainn Wilson. Kevin. Brian. The actor who plays Kevin. Brian.
Brian Brumgarner.
Yeah. He was on. I think one other, but it's slow going.
Yeah, there's so many people that love to have on the show, and we've been lucky enough that now the show's big enough that we can sometimes even get those people.
And sometimes people approach us too. Like Rainn Wilson, he's a fan, and he watches the show with his son, and we got a call that said, "Oh, Rainn Wilson really wants to," and so Adam's got a post-it on the wall with just names of people that have contacted us that are fans. And, we don't like to just shoehorn someone in just for the sake of doing it.
Yeah.
So we wait, we let it percolate, and then we talk about there's an episode down the line we're like, wait, that'd be perfect for so and so.
Yeah, hopefully they still like the show.
Yeah, we have gotten calls like, he made 2 calls. Why aren't you putting him on the show yet?
Yeah, how did Lena Dunham come about?
That's an excellent question.
Yeah, you can answer.
I actually sort of friends with her. She before she became famous, when she was still a college student, had friended me on Facebook, and we knew each other from the Independent Fillmore. And then she got very famous, and then we just reached out to her, and she was excited. I think she was interested, and then she found out she had a goddaughter that was a big fan, and suddenly her emails got very more excited. And then she actually recorded that while she was in production for Girls, so we had to do that remotely. She was recording in New York, and we were doing a phone patch, which is fun. Because after a line, you can go like this, and they don't see you.
So I have a question about how the story process happens. So at this stage, with all the seasons that have passed, do you have like a list of every story that's ever been out there, and everything you come up with, you sort of have to match it up and say, did we ever talk about this? How does that work?
During the season, we have all the stories, and we're looking at that a lot. We're keeping track of making sure we have a variety of episodes and characters. And but Adam's actually really good at he's kind of a computer, and I'm always like, hey, have we ever done this, or who was this person? And you're really good at like remembering all the minutia of all the logistical stuff.
Yeah, I think we have like a mental list of the stories we've told and the threads we have, and sometimes that bites us because we come up with this really great idea, and then we find out, or we realize we did this in season 2 and we can't really do this again. Or we could, but it would suck if we did that. We do try
oh hey, how's it going?
to focus on a couple threads, like season to season.
Overly hard.
Yeah, like season 6, I would say, is like more about Finn and his dad. I mean, not every episode, but that is sort of the thing we're tracking, especially towards the end of the season. Spoilers.
A lot of times an episode will air and we'll be like, oh yeah, I remember that's like we worked on it a year ago and it aired, and then that'll get us talking, and then we'll start writing something. So there'll be big gaps between storylines.
Let's get better about that, I think.
That's nice though.
Well, sometimes like half a season's gone by, and we're like, no, we didn't do a BMO episode. It sucks. It's too late now.
Yeah, who will we be seeing in future episodes? Like, can you give us some sneak peeks into?
At the panel, as far as characters, or
Is there going to be a BMO episode?
there is a BMO-ish episode, yes, but nothing like BMO Lost or BMO Noir, where it's like all from his point of view. BMO's been like a good sidekick. He's a good comic foil for like more serious stories.
Yeah, you don't want to go to that well. You don't want to cut open the golden goose that is BMO and shake all the eggs.
Are there any storylines or characters that you considered but ultimately rejected?
Rejected.
Didn't feel right for the show?
They don't usually get that far. Like, we don't come up with arcs that we think we should follow and then bail out of them. I think.
Oh, we had that story where it's like Bette Midler playing herself time travels and becomes. It's like she's live action in OO, and we got really far with it, and then it just didn't seem. It seemed weird.
There was a story. It was there's an outline with Tree Trunks as like a vigilante.
Oh, that's right.
And it got written, and I read it, and I was like, where is this coming
Jack
from?
and Penn wrote it, and I thought it was hilarious.
And I was like, there's no way, none of this makes sense. She's like an old woman. She can't do any of this
She
stuff.
becomes like Batman, and she's like solving crimes and punishing. So we kept it. We said we'll do this in season 10.
Yeah. In the short term, it got torpedoed. I think that's
But it was hilarious.
It's like, her name was Evangeline Lipstick.
Yeah. That was her superhero name.
What are you guys most proud about the show?
I'm most proud that BMO to put a VHS tape, he has to go in his butt. I wrote that. And I'm so proud. I want that on my tombstone.
I think I'm proud that the show, we're in 6th season, we're heading into 7, and it's still weird and inventive, and it's not what I expect it to be. People will tell me, like, this show's weird, and I have to be objective because I don't think it's weird anymore. It's like I've been inside of it too long. So yeah, I think that we're still doing stuff that is bizarre and not what we did before, and not necessarily what other shows are doing. I think that's great.
With it being like 7 seasons in and it's like half-hour specials, has there been any movement towards doing like a hour-long special, like a movie, or anything like that?
Yeah, it's like one of those things where there's always like rumblings about it, but until I actually see it, I mean, TV moves so fast that I think we aren't adapted to working on movies as much.
Yeah, I don't know how we would have the time to make a movie unless we shut down production for a year. I feel like to really,
yeah, I think
something like a movie,
or it was like completely different. That would be cool. Like if it was like a live action movie with like Guillermo del Toro directing, that would be awesome.
Yeah,
because it would be so different than us, and it would be his version of it, or anybody's version. I'm not saying he's going to direct it.
Do any of you know Guillermo?
Yeah, you can start that rumor.
Well, hold on.
No, he's a fan of the show because he wrote the foreword to the Art Out book that's coming out later this year.
So I'm curious to know, in terms of the fans, like, has there been did they influence in any way the storytelling or the beats or the characters that you develop based on what you see out there?
It's just Meow. Meow was a kid sent in a picture.
Yeah, that was the most direct version of that.
And we made an episode around it. But no, usually it's, I think all of us at different levels are online kind of listening to conversations on message boards.
It depends. Like there are some people who work on the show, they're so plugged in they can't, and they're torturing themselves by reading every mean thing that's said about the episodes they work on. So I don't know how that doesn't mess up your thinking if you do that every single day. But I think we look at how stuff is playing with the audience and how they react to it and what they get excited about, but we don't use that to directly say, let's just make an episode because I really like that. It's more, this seems to be getting a response, maybe we can do something interesting with that. No fan service.
Is that why you killed Root Beer Man off screen?
That, A, it was funny, and B, it kind of set up the stakes for that story. Like, this is serious conflict, and anybody could die. And it came off.
It was our Game of Thrones moment.
Yeah.
Well, it came out at Jack Pendarvis, who does the voice. He got very upset once Root Beer Guy became captain of the Banana Guards, and then there were a couple episodes where the Banana Guards were still...
I know, but I don't understand why that was...
dummies, and he was like, you should be whipping him into shape because he should be good at his job. And that's why in James 2, they say, oh, Root Beer Guy's on vacation.
Yeah.
Because we had to write around that.
I think he was projecting too.
And then he was just like, well, I think we should kill him. And then that way the Banana Guards can stay dumb. And
this is the character he voices. He just had this
and he watched the episode with his nephews and his mom and his brother. And it was very sad.
They just want to tell them they're bananas.
They're not going to get any better than they are at their job.
Root Beer Guy was like Icarus. He flew too close to the sun.
I don't know what that. How's that apply?
He's living the gimmick.
I think he could have maybe just accepted the fact that bananas aren't.
Yeah.
There's only so much you can do with a banana.
All right, you're done.
Going into Finn in
So any other major themes that you're playing with this season? Right now it seems like it's about growing up and what it means to be grown up for both Finn and Jake.
Yeah, I think that's a big part of just the show. Like anytime there's a kid as the main character in the show, it's going to be some sort of growing up metaphor. But this season specifically, there's stuff with the role of fathers and Jake's sort of relationship with his kids.
Sure.
And then Finn's relationship with his dad, and then creativity, just as a theme, sort of comes up towards the end of the season.
And will Finn's dad be coming back?
That would be a spoiler, but yeah, he's coming back.
How can he not?
That would be weird.
It's even rude.
If we brought him back just for those one episode and had him take off.
Yeah.
Oh, that would be so unfulfilling.
So does that mean Betty's coming back too?
Betty? Betty Groff?
Yes.
I mean, what do you think? That episode ended. Did it seem like we want to bring her back.
I mean, it seems like she's coming back.
She's got some motivation. She's got some time to kill. She might come back.
I think it's just the time frame on episodes like that. Like there are a lot of threads we kind of leave open, and if it seems like it would be dumb not to pursue them, we usually will eventually get back to them. But
There's a
never.
post-it note
Yeah.
that says Finn's arm, like Finn's dad, Daddy, Ice King, and we're trying to get checks next to it.
Yeah, but that's another thing. We have so many characters now that if we like literally just followed all those things, it would become such a diffuse show just following all these different characters. So it's on a different time frame. It's like we'll get to it maybe next season on some stuff like that.
And then Steve Wolfhard puts in the King of Ooh, and we get Andy Daly, and he's amazing, and we're like, now we have another character.
Yeah,
It's an embarrassment of riches.
I'm embarrassed.
Adventure Time problems, am I right?
Besides, of course, the VHS, but
Yes.
what part of yourself are you most proud of, like, kind of having almost like a signature, like, shooting situation, like, on kind of a personal level, when you see it, or want to have?
Shelby's little brother is named Kent,
You proud of that?
and that's my name.
Yeah.
I am proud of it. Well, I can't remember, we were writing it, or like his little brother, and someone was like, what's his name? And I said, Kent, and Penn went, sure. And I was like, that was easy. So, but I also named Shelby and drew Shelby, so it's kind of nice.
It's hard because it's so collaborative to like try to claim what you think. I think there are certain characters that people identify with, and they will write the stories predominantly for them. Like, I think Jesse and Tom have done most of the Lemon Grab episodes.
Yeah.
So they kind of have a personal stake in him. But I don't know if there's any character
Yeah, people definitely like. Jesse also likes Magic Man.
Yeah.
And it's not a competitive thing, I don't think. You kind of want. Oh, there's an Ice King story. Cole needs a board. Like he loves the Ice King. What's like he's good for it. He's got Ice King's voice.
Yeah. I'm just happy the show's still going. That's my personal contribution. I'm like, yeah.
Speaking of contribution, you guys ever disagree on something while you're
sure.
coming up with?
Yeah, all the time.
Yeah.
Disagree. So it's
Sometimes I
there's
just
a back
want
and
them
forth
to
going
do
on.
what I want, but it doesn't.
So who
Yeah.
wins those arguments most of the time?
I don't know. We don't have like a system that's built on contention. So a lot of the times it's just if the best idea ends up ruling. So we'll have like a conversation between like the writers and some of the storyboard artists, and we'll sort of not be set on an idea, and whatever kind of floats to the top as the one most people can kind of get behind, that becomes what happens.
I think the biggest fight was at the end of the pit. I don't know if you know that one. It's where Jake is in Keoth's pit.
Yeah, he's trapped in a pit with this dog named Samantha.
It's
played by
kind of
Marine
sexy,
Service.
and she's flirting with him, and he's like, "Hey, I'm spoken for." And then it ends with Jake's hugging Lady, and originally he like watches Samantha walk off, and Penn
No, he like looked out the open doorway, and it felt like
longingly.
Yes.
And Penn gets very upset, and some of us saw it as. It was very subtle, and some of us thought it was like, oh, there's nothing wrong with looking. But Penn was very upset. He's like,
yeah,
oh,
it became pretty heated.
He's like, Lady's got her eyes closed, and she's hugging him, and it's mean, and Jake wouldn't do that.
Wait,
and,
yeah, he thought it was just
and I think
too mean to Lady.
Yeah,
on top
and
of that,
Jesse
'cause
was
he
like,
friends.
and then I got defensive because I'm a nice person. I don't think anything's wrong with it.
So in the end, now it's like a doorway, and there's a leaf that blows by it, and he doesn't look.
He keeps his eyes closed.
So it's like a weird ending now,
That's the life lesson.
which is cool.
Keep your eyes closed when you're hugging your wife or your husband.
Anyways,
Have there been any characters that you guys thought this is just ridiculous? It's not going to work, and then it ended up being like working and became a favorite of the fans.
that wouldn't work.
You know, Bounce House Princess. I remember. I'm like, never in a million years will this become like the most popular character on the show. And sure enough,
She's not the most popular.
is she not? I saw some. I do the voice of Bounce House Princess. I've yet to see some cosplay. But if anyone is dressed up as Bounce House Princess, I will marry them.